Largest gathering.
Oh, yeah.
It's turned out. My mom's.
You can want to stand on the other side.
I am.
Should I come here to talk to people watching via video?
Yeah, it'll be here. They should be able to see everything in here. Okay. And then the pulpit, they can open it up. Yes.
How do you do those?
If you want to go in just a little.
Hello, mourners coming in from across the world. I'm Rabbi Ruthie, and I want to share my condolences, and particularly to acknowledge Beth and Ken and Vicky. I know, I imagine, we wish you could be here with us, and we are sending support from here to you. I'm going to be leading Ed and Naomi in Kriya, the symbolic tearing of the ribbon, right now. And if you have any garment or symbolic fabric that you want to tear as part of this, this is an appropriate moment to do that. And then we'll get started with the pallbearers and the funeral procession.
Did anybody need any help? Same with waiting.
There was something cool. This is one. Call her. She's join us at the first.
I'm in a position at the when you can you follow us? Sure. Okay.
You want to go this way with the camera?
So I'm gonna have you here, and then just as we're walking through, just turn it.
Mishpatei Adonai emet tzedku yachdav. Asher davar melech shiltonu miyomar lo ma taseh. V'hu b'chag yishivenu v'nafsho yifkoh. V'cham v'gadol tzavur v'chesed koshim. Thank you all for being here today to honor Edward Feil, and we welcome virtually and acknowledge those of you who are tuning in with us remotely. I think about Edward, and he was a person who devoted so much of his life to the act of accompaniment of people who were old, of people who were left alone, to this act of care. And now here we are accompanying him to his final rest. So I invite you, if you know the psalm, to sing with me the traditional words of Psalm 23, Mizmor LeDavid. The psalm for accompanying those as they find their final rest. Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai roi lo echzar, binot desher yarbitzeni, al mi menuchot yendach aleini, nafshi eshavel, nafshi eshavel, yancheni b'magli tzedek l'man shemo, gam ki elech b'geit zalmavet lo irara, ki ata imadi shivtecha umishantecha, shivtecha umishantecha, hema yenachamoni, taruch lefanai shulchan, taruch lefanai shulchan, taruch lefanai shulchan, neged zorerai, dishanta v'shemen roshi, dishanta v'shemen roshi, dishanta v'shemen roshi, kosir v'aya, ach tov v'chesed, yirtefuni kol yemei chayai, v'shavti b'beit Adonai, v'shavti b'beit Adonai, le'orech yamim. The psalmist says very famously, even when I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. And Ed was with people as they walked through the valley of the shadow of death. And so may the final words be for him, have been for him. Surely goodness and loving kindness will pursue me all the days of my life, and I shall come to dwell in the house of the Eternal One forever and ever. I know Ed has some words to share with us about his father. And we'll have some time after that if any of you want to share brief memories.
Well, thank you all for being here, first of all. Just want to thank you. My brother couldn't be here because of COVID, but through the internet, he is virtually here watching and listening. He wrote this eulogy. Ed Feil was a mild-mannered man, probably best remembered by most folks as a kind, warm-hearted fellow with a big laugh, a generous and playful disposition, as well as that guy who every morning biked 10 miles around the oval at the top of our street. He was a person of few words, but Dad had an abundant vocabulary when it came to communicating with his camera. Born to a family of doctors, Dad was an artist, and he loved the art of film, yet he was so humble. In the 60s and 70s, highbrow film culture was all about the auteur, the film director who could see the camera as expressively as any great writer. His library was stuffed with books about auteur filmmakers, but I can't ever recall Dad claiming to be an auteur or referring to his film as art. He made, after all, functional films for medical facilities, manufacturers, and nursing homes. How possibly could these be art? Who knew that he was influenced by great expressionist filmmakers? Evident in one of his first films, an adaptation of Poe's Pit and the Pendulum, or that he engaged in abstract impressionist paintings in two 1950 experimental films, both entitled Patterns, and which we recently learned from the Moving Images Archive at Indiana University, the filmmaker Jim Jarmusch much admired. Who could have predicted that this medical film he made with Naomi, our mom, The Inner World of Aphasia, would be placed on the National Registry by the Library of Congress in 2015. Dad was an artist, but he'd sooner listen to Ella Fitzgerald singing the Gershwin songbook than sing his own praises. He'd rather crack a pun or build a diorama out of gray tape than bloviate. And as you can tell from my writing, that clearly skips a generation. He loved to crack puns and furnished one for every situation, often recycling them for the next 50 years to a chorus of our groans and harmony with his laughter. He had food puns, a tomato for a tomato. He would say to Mom and refer to his canned sprouts as has-beens. He had salutation puns, Jell-O again, which admittedly stole from Jack Benny, and farewell puns, bye-bye, bye-bombs. Dad loved to laugh, and he adored comedy. The Marx Brothers, Abbott and Costello, Laurel and Hardy, those old British Ealing Studio comedies starring Alec Guinness, Peter Sellers, and Stanley Holloway, and he loved a good fart joke. From Mel Brooks' bean supper scene in Blazing Saddles to his own musical moments. I always knew I could break him up by remarking after his gas escaped with a loud quack that the house had a duck infestations. Dad's brow was all over the place, high, low, middle, and outre. And the fun was infectious, if sometimes odoriferous. Words were not Dad's medium, but pictures were, and so were people. The best of his medical films and documentaries, especially the ones he made with Mom as well as his home movies, captured the poetry of people, festive facades alongside genuine joy, the theater and dance of life that only film and eventually video could illuminate. His camera loved everyone. It's amazing that in all those thousands of hours of film, shot, it is true, with our occasional objections, When you watch it, any of it, what glows is a sense of life, action, and emotion, the buzz of people, and Dad's affection for them, his innate belief that everyone was important. It's really sad and tough to see him go, but he did it right. Both lived and died well. It's funny, I knew it would be soon, but really didn't expect it now. He just seemed to have such a zest for life that he would never let himself go. As he would say, "See you later, alligator." Thank you.
Thank you for sharing those memories, both the reverent and the very irreverent. And I want to offer some time, since it is a beautiful day and we had only one formal-ish eulogy, if anyone else would like to share a memory. It can be very brief. It can be about a fart joke. To please come forward and share. That would be lovely. If you can take this mic, it will be helpful to the people tuning in virtually, but if that is too much of an effort, that's also fine to just share from where you are.
Be nice.
Hang on just one second. Hang on just one second. Let's take this off. Oops. And then here, put you here. You're good here. And I'm not putting the mic down. Okay.
Well, when I came back from New York to Cleveland, and I came to live with my parents and my mother, who wanted me to get married again really quick. She invited Ed Feil because he was 40 years old and had never gotten married. So she had a big party and put me next to Ed. And that's how we met. And the first thing Ed said to me was, "Do you have a bicycle?" And I said, "Sure, I have a bicycle." And then I thought, I just came back from New York. In New York, we don't ride bicycles. So I whispered to my mother, "Where's my bicycle? Do I have a bicycle?" And she said yes. So I had this old clunker bicycle with big tires that I had when I was 16. And the next day, Ed and I went bike riding. And for our whole courtship, he never took me out to dinner. He always went on our bicycles. And we got to know each other going down a big hill in Cleveland. What's that place? Well, I can't think of the name. But anyway, we rode and rode and rode. And we got to know each other that way. And finally, I had to ask Ed to marry me. He would never have done it on his own. And I guess that's the story. I think I'm glad he did, and I think he's glad I did. So you were very lucky to have each other, Ed and I. Very, very, very lucky that we found each other, because he was always there whenever I needed him. And he was quiet, but I knew he was with me always. And so he will be with me always. Always. Yeah. I'm only sorry he can't say the eulogy when I die.
You can shake your head. Don't feel
Hi, my name is Jana, and I'm one of Ed's caregivers, one of many back there in the row. And Ed really was such a wonderful person. We had so much fun hanging out with each other and watching him and Mimi over the years. I think I've been there 6 or 7 years now with them, and watching them grow even stronger in their relationship over the years has just been wonderful. Eddie was talking about his fart jokes, and one night we're sitting on the bed and I'm getting him ready to go to bed, and he backfires. So I said, Ed, you need to quit backfiring. He turns around and he looks at me and he goes, what? I said, backfire, and he goes, oh, he about lost it. Boss about fell off the bed. We will miss him. He really touched a lot of people. Live, laugh, love. He did it all.
My name is Tamara, and I'm the youngest caregiver there, meaning the oldest in years, but being the youngest in service there. And I tell you, Ed was a joy. And to see Mimi and Ed sing together, we had so much fun singing old songs, and I would sometimes put an artist on and say, guess who sang this song, and make them guess at the table. But one time during the singing session, Ed turned to me and he says, I want to adopt you. And I just think it's because he enjoyed singing so much, and we sang a lot, that I think I'm probably just sort of hit a chord with him. But I'll never forget Ed. He was incredible, gentle, kind, giving person. Always said, thank you. And even when I knew he was in pain, he'd say, thank you. You're working so hard. Very, very appreciative. So that's what I wanted to say.
Not sure how you all can keep it together, because I'm a mess. But when I came to Ed and Mimi 6 years ago, and to see them together, to knowing that he had dementia, it made no difference to Mimi. And she had to teach us. She had to teach us how to communicate with Ed, but what actually happened is that Ed taught us how to communicate with him. And there was one time that really was so kind. When you say that this man had kindness, even though he was sometimes really not as aware of everything. There were times when he did, and I was having a pretty rough day regarding my family. I came to work, tried to, get into it. You don't share your personal issues when you get to work. When you get to work, it's about them. And we were eating breakfast, or he was eating breakfast, and I was helping him, and he just reached over and he touched my hand, and he squeezed it, and his hand was so warm, and there were no words exchanged, But I knew that he knew that I needed that touch. And I will never forget that. And even though there's probably times when this family doesn't want me in the family, you're stuck with me. Just say it. So I thank you for letting me be a part of your family. And we're just gonna go on, right? Yes, we will.
Hi, my name's Tammy, and I've been with Ed and Mimi since 2015. Ed was such a ray of sunshine. Never saw him get cross, but when he did, there was always a reason. He never showed anger, always loved. I mean, I'm gonna miss him doing this and grabbing me and me tickling him to get him to smile and laugh. I really loved your dad. I loved your husband very much, and your grandpa.
Hi, I'm Chris. I'm just a driver, but I've driven them to lots of places, and I used to try to take them out to have as much fun as they could. And we had a whole lot of good times. And I remember, I don't remember any bad times with it at all. It was so good to be around, and all I ever wanted to do was make them laugh tonight. It's all I did is make them laugh. It didn't matter. We could laugh about anything. It was real fun when I'd be standing next to him while he's taking a poop, I guess, right, in the living room, and then I'll rip one right next to him, and I'll be like, "Hey, Ed, we can do this together, right?" And he loved that. I don't know, he liked that kind of stuff. But yeah, Ed, he was a really good man, and I love him very much, and I'm very grateful I got to be part of your guys' lives. You know. Yeah.
Would anyone else like to share anything? I thank everyone who has brought so many anecdotes and tastes of Ed's spirit and smells, evidently, as well, to this moment. And I think it's a beautiful thing to invoke the wholeness, the unique wholeness of a person as we bury him. So we are going to do that now. We'll lower the casket, and then anyone who wants, starting of course with Ed and Naomi and the immediate family and the caregivers, can participate in shoveling dirt into the grave, which is considered the final act of kindness and care that we can give to someone. It's considered chesed shel emet, the essence of a loving and kind act. It's an act that cannot be returned. And so all who want are invited to participate. We have a few shovels, and there is a Jewish custom of each person doing their first shovel upside down, indicating sort of our regret. We are not trying to do this efficiently. We are not glad to be doing this. And from a pragmatic perspective, we have a few shovels, and there is a container of hand sanitizer right here for people to use after shoveling. We have folks on their way. Okay. So we'll will chant a simple wordless melody as the casket is lowered. And evidently, if there's anyone who was on the fence about, well, do I want to share this story or not? We have a moment for you to share if there's one more person who wants to, because it seems like our workers are on their way, but not here yet. And yes, we do.
I felt a lot of camaraderie with Ed. He was the other. I loved seeing him at every holiday and dinner and birthday party. And even when I was feeling just horrible, on a really bad day, he could always make me smile. And I remember, I think it was my 47th or 48th birthday. And I'm sitting in front of the cake, and he's sitting next to me, and I'm looking at all the candles, thinking, like, it's going to need bigger and bigger cakes every year. And it was like he knew what I was thinking. I looked over at him, I don't know, with some kind of face, and he said to me, I think you are timeless. And I'll never forget that moment.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Mekomo Yavo Shalom. May he go to his final rest in peace. we're singing El Malei Rachamim, which is the bottom of the page, and then we'll do Mourner's Kaddish, and I'll say it with you. El Malei Rachamim, Shochein B'Meromim, Ametzei Menucha Nechona, תחת כנפי השכינה, במעלות קדושים וטהורים, כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים, את נשמת ישראל בן אהרון, שהלך לעולמו. אז תראהו בסתר כנפיך לעולמים, וצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתו. אדוני הוא נחלתו, וינוח בשלום על משכבו, ונאמר Amen. God, filled with mercy, dwelling in the heavens' heights, bring proper rest beneath the wings of your Shekhinah, amid the ranks of the holy and the pure, illuminating like the brilliance of the sky, the soul of Yisrael ben Aharon, Edward Feil Sr., who has gone to his eternal place of rest. May you, who are the source of mercy, shelter him beneath your wings eternally, and bind his soul among the living, that he may rest in peace. Amen. And we'll say Mourner's Kaddish now, our traditional prayer for the, really prayer of gratitude for the holiness and beauty of this life well lived. And I invite anyone who identifies as a mourner to say these words, and anyone to just say Amen at the appropriate points. Yitgadal v'yizkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach yirsei v'yamlich malchusei, b'chayechon u'b'yamechon ובחיי דחו בייס ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעולמי עלמי. יסברך וישתבח, ויספאר, ויסרמם, ויתנשא, ויסדר, ויסעלה, ויסהלל, שמי דקודשה, בריך הוא. לעילה ממכל ברכסה ושירסה, תושבחסה ונחמסה, דאמירן בעלמה, אמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, אמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו, Amen. May the one who makes peace above make peace for us, for the whole house of Israel, for all who dwell on earth. And we say, Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleichem, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, V'Yimaru Amen. You are welcome to pass the laminated sheets either to Oriana, who started collecting them over there, or Rachel, are you willing to collect? Thank you. And this moment of leaving the grave, of saying goodbye, is a very difficult moment. So there is a traditional ritual that I invite you all to do, which is that anyone who understands yourself to be here in a support capacity to the mourners, and I know there's so many caregivers who are mourners, so we can identify you as mourners as well, but anyone who's not part of the immediate family or immediate caregiver group, to make 2 lines facing each other on this walkway, and the mourners will walk through those lines while you offer just words of empathy or your silence or your witnessing. The traditional Hebrew phrase is Hamakom Yenachem Etchem, may you find comfort, and as a way of helping accompany the family away.